Twilight Sort of Kills Her Friends by Mad Hattie. Of all the ways Rainbow Dash envisioned her evening going, waking up in an efficiently dug, if not somewhat shallow, grave was not one of them. She definitely didn't expect Twilight to be staring down at her maniacally either. The shovel was a bonus. "Did you know that alicorns are immortal?" Twilight asked rather suddenly, her smile unwavering in its intensity. Rainbow blinked groggily, wiping the dirt from her eyes. "I don't believe that's the very best way to start a conversation with her right now, darling," said Rarity from Twilight's right. She was stood a little ways away, her horn's magic guiding a comb through her tangled mane. She looked decidedly bored with the whole ordeal. "What?" Rainbow asked, wincing as she tried to stretch out her body. Everything ached. She felt worse than the day after a particularly harsh workout. Maybe digging her way out of that grave hadn't helped. Wait. "Why was I... Did you know alicorns are immortal?" Twilight asked again before shaking her head. She laughed nervously. "Sorry, that's been going through my head a lot recently." "Oh, I know," Rarity said despairingly. "What is going on?" Rainbow demanded. "Why do I ache so much?" "Oh, don't worry about that," Twilight said, waving her hoof in front of her. "That goes away super fast. Trust me. I did my research." On what?" Pah! Rainbow nearly jumped out of her skin. Next to her, in an eruption of pink mane and fallen dirt, Pinkie Pie had appeared from a grave of her own. "Holy crumble cake, that was awesome!" Pinkie exploded, jumping up and down on her hind legs. "Best prank ever!" It's not a prank," Rarity supplied ruefully. Rainbow looked from Pinkie Pie, who seemed to be vibrating on the spot, to Twilight, who was watching Pinkie's reaction with fascination. She cleared her throat, realizing it was almost sandpaper dry. "Can someone please explain to me what the heck is going on?" "Oh, that's simple, darling," Rarity said, discarding her comb. "You're dead." Rainbow gasped. I'm what?" Rarity made a face. "We all are." "What?" Twilight laughed. The kind of laugh you might expect from a mad scientist. So, basically Twilight's regular laugh. I might have overreacted a little, but I think it worked out fine." Pinkie poked herself in the chest. "I'm dead?" She pouted. "Nuh-uh. If I was dead, I couldn't do this." Rainbow wasn't sure what Pinkie did, but the next second she was being showered with confetti and party balloons. One bounced off of her head. Rainbow's eye twitched. I'm sorry. Am I not getting the punchline here or something? How are we dead?" Twilight rubbed the back of her head in embarrassment. I may have killed you." "You what?" "Don't take it personally," Rarity sighed. "She killed all of us." "I don't think you did it right, Twi," Pinkie said. "I'm pretty sure being dead doesn't involve waking up again." "Oh, I did," Twilight said happily. "You see, Something squeaked from Rainbow's other side. Rainbow looked Twilight squarely in the eyes. "Twilight, just how many ponies did you kill?" Twilight laughed. "Oh, you know, just the titular ones." "Is Fluttershy buried next to me?" Rainbow asked in deadpan. "Well, if it's not too much trouble, could some pony maybe get me out of this You buried Fluttershy? Pinkie pouted. You let her have a coffin? She folded her forelegs crossly. Favoritism. I've got her, Rarity said. Her horn glowed, and a moment later the dirt lifted from Fluttershy's grave in a neat rectangle. Once the dirt was discarded, Rarity opened the coffin door. Fluttershy lay on her back, eyes wide in fear. Thank you, she squeaked. What's going on? Rainbow offered Fluttershy her hoof. That's what I'm trying to figure out. And I'm trying to explain, Twilight said. Fine, then please do that. Twilight huffed. I don't know why you're all so mad. I gave you a gift. When Princess Celestia mentioned in passing about alicorns being immortal, I didn't believe her at first. Then she told me it was supposed to be covered in the book of alicorn biology she gave me after my coronation. But Spike had been using it to even out a table leg for months. Anyway, after that, I kind of freaked out a little. I mean, who wouldn't, right? She snorted. No one spoke. Twilight cleared her throat. Anyway, I got this crazy idea, right? I thought to myself, there's no way I want to live my immortal life on my own. How silly is that? So I dug out this old resurrection spell I'd been meaning to study, and found out there was a way to make normal ponies immortal too. They just had to die first, so I could resurrect them. Forever. Rainbow Dash looked to her other friends. Please tell me I'm not the only one who thinks this sounds absolutely insane. Rarity inspected her hoof with a sigh. I decided it would be better for my anxiety to just run with it. She looked towards Rainbow sternly. Stress causes wrinkles, you know. You won't need to worry about that now that you're resurrected, Twilight beamed. So, Rainbow glanced at Pinkie, who was now hopping about playfully, singing Immortal, Immortal, Immortal over and over again. Does this mean we're zombies? Pinkie stopped, gasping dramatically. Oh my gosh, are we? She grinned a smile that rivaled Twilight's. Because that sounds super, super awesome! Then you're going to love my answer, Twilight said. Fluttershy raised her hoof in question. Are my animals still going to, like me, if I'm undead? I very much doubt it, Rarity said under her breath. At the same time, Twilight said, Of course! Suddenly, a third mound of dirt began to rise, this one next to Pinkie Pie. Let me guess, Rainbow said, eyebrows raised. Applejack. Twilight laughed sheepishly. Applejack burst out from her grave, gasping like a newborn filly. Her eyes widened in surprise as she took in her surroundings. What in tarnation? She muttered. Now I know I sprained my hoof, but there ain't no way it was this bad. I did you a favor, Twilight said, snorting indignantly. I did you all favors. If you believe you did, then that's all that matters, Rarity said, smiling frankly. Twilight frowned. But I did! I didn't want to kill any of you immediately, but you were all suffering the way you were. I had to kill you when I did. I couldn't have waited. Fluttershy's eyes widened. I was suffering? I don't remember suffering. I had a head cold, Rarity supplied thinly. Twilight snuck into my bedroom and hit me over the head with a baseball bat. Twice! I had to make sure, Twilight argued. Besides, you could barely breathe. It was the equine thing to do. I had a cold. Yes, and we all know you complain like it's the end of the world when you have one, Twilight shot back. In fact, the last time you had a cold, the exact words were, and I quote, "Leave me alone to die." I did not give you permission to break into my home and kill me with a baseball bat. I saw it as an open invitation. What is going on? Applejack asked exhaustedly. Is this something I can just tune out of, or... Twilight killed us, Pinkie said excitedly, clapping her hoofs together. Now we get to be immortals just like Twilight. Applejack stared at Pinkie for a few drawn-out seconds. So that's a no? Wait a second, Fluttershy said, her forehead creasing. That was you dressed as a bear on my front porch? Rarity gaped. That's why you wanted me to sew you a realistic bear costume? Twilight's eyes narrowed. Of course. Why else would I ask for one? Frankly, darling, what you do in your spare time is not my business. Rainbow shot into the air, waving her hooves. You killed Fluttershy in a bear costume? Twilight shrugged. It was the easiest way to kill her. She wouldn't expect a friendly bear to poison her tea. Fluttershy nodded meekly. It's true. Rainbow covered her face in exasperation. You could have just gone to Tea of Fluttershy's and poisoned her drink. Twilight opened her mouth before pausing. Oh, she said. Huh, I didn't think of that. But you thought of a bear suit. Ooh, Twilight, you naughty mare, Pinkie chuckled. Applejack sighed. Can I just lie back down in my grave or something? So how'd you kill me? Rainbow asked incredulously. How did you even catch me? Twilight shrugged. Duh! I smothered you in your hospital bed yesterday after you sprained your wing. You did what? Twilight gestured to Applejack. Same with AJ, actually. Oh, me next, me next! Pinkie shouted. Rainbow shook her head emphatically. No way. You're telling me not only did you kill me in a totally predictable, non-epic way, but it wasn't even original? Twilight backed away awkwardly. I vote we kill Twilight, Rainbow said. What? No! Aw, I want to go, Pinkie insisted. Actually, Pinkie, Twilight said, giving her a once-over. To be honest, I followed you around all day to try and kill you, but you evaded every single one of my traps like it was no sweat. Twilight shrugged. I was actually going to give up, but then you ate about 12 dozen cupcakes and went into a sugar-induced coma, so I just buried you like that and hoped for the best. She cocked her head to the side. Tell me, do you feel dead? Pinkie frowned. What's it supposed to feel like? Like this, Rainbow growled. Twilight screamed as the Rainbow Pegasus leapt at her from the sky. Rarity tried to tear Rainbow away with her magic. Fluttershy whispered apologies from the corner, and Pinkie rooted for both teams, quote-unquote, while throwing confetti in each of the competitors' eyes. Applejack tried to rebury herself. The fight ended with a satisfying crunch. We are gathered here today to mourn the loss of not one, but 6 ponies. The turnout for the funeral was pretty good, all things considered. Most of Ponyville turned up to celebrate the lives of the main 6, as well as a few scattered family members who could make it with such short notice, plus a dozen animals from Fluttershy's cottage. There was also an empty bear costume propped up on one of the chairs. No pony was brave enough to question it. The funeral stallion continued his long-winded speech, listing the many accomplishments of the elements of harmony in Princess Twilight Sparkle. Princess Celestia sat in the audience, looking somewhat disgruntled. It probably had something to do with the fact that there were 5 ponies in poorly fitted black coats and sunglasses in the back row, all faking their woes to various degrees. No one but the princess seemed to notice this. Pinkie Pie was sobbing erratically, pausing to giggle between breaths. Rarity cried with theatrical charm. Rainbow and Applejack sat with their forelegs crossed, eyes narrowed beneath their cloaks. Fluttershy was too afraid to turn up for her own funeral, and Twilight sat with an ice pack pressed against her cheek. Turns out, dying via a very powerful right hook left its mark even beyond the grave. When Celestia was asked to say a few words, she sighed deeply into the microphone for a count of 48 seconds before sitting down again. No pony knew exactly what she meant, but because she was practically God, no one disputed it either. At the end of the funeral, Twilight and her friends gathered in front of the 6 empty coffins. You know, I think this all went rather well, Twilight said, all things considered. We're zombies, Rainbow said. Yes, Twilight said, but we're together, and we're all immortal. How great is that? Now none of us ever have to worry about being alone. We'll rot, Rarity said sullenly. I'm not sure I have any outfits that complement decaying flesh. What a great way to start a new line, Twilight said with a smile. Zombies can't eat cupcakes, Pinkie pouted. Twilight frowned. Well, honestly, I'm not even 100% sure you're even dead. Every pony was silent for a moment. Twilight reached out her hooves, failing at an attempted group hug. This'll be good for us, you'll see. Applejack sighed. I hate all of you. She turned and began to walk away. If any pony needs me, I'm finding out whether zombies can get drunk or not. Sign me up on that action, Rainbow said. This'll be fine, Twilight said, a grin still plastered on her face. Rarity raised a brow. Are you sure about that, darling? I am, Pinkie beamed. Besides, these things have a habit of sorting themselves out. By tomorrow, no pony will even remember this narrative. Rarity and Twilight shared a look of confusion. What on earth are you talking about? Pinkie laughed. You'll see. The end. Hello, YouTube. Skijaramas here. I'd like to take a moment to let you all know that I am officially starting a Patreon page. And no, I'm not going to be closing it this time, at least not overnight as I did last time. This Patreon page is at present dedicated solely to collecting donations for me to upgrade my equipment, microphone, laptop, making sure I can keep my voice editing software, the like. There is a link to the Patreon page in the description below. I do hope to see you there. Just so you know, some notable perks of pledging to the Patreon page are getting to see my stuff early and maybe even giving feedback and suggestions on projects that I'm considering but haven't necessarily committed to yet. I always like other opinions. They're nice to have. So, thanks for tuning in, everybody, and I'll see you next time.